parents know that Kyle dropped off some books for our youth today. And so the youth took some books with them as they were in their class. And so they have books to read. I think he signed them as well. And Kyle is a good friend of mine. We went to college together. He traveled all over the country, so it was an honor to have him here with us. So our young people got some literature today. And for our praise team, our hymn choir, our music ministry, media ministry, and greeters, would you shout glory?
Glory!
Book of Ruth. Book of Ruth. Book of Ruth, chapter 1. Book of Ruth, chapter 1. We'll be looking at the entire pericope, chapter 1, book of Ruth. But for the sake of our subject and the brevity of the moment, I want to just look at verse 16 and verse 17. Ruth, chapter 1, after Judges, before Samuel. Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, right before Judges. Verse 16, New King James Version says it like this. But Ruth said, entreat me not to leave you, or to turn back from following after you. Wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you lodge, I will lodge. And your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me and you. The word of God for the people of God. Would you shout, thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
And have your seats in the presence of God. Talk about interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships. The idea of dealing with people. Dealing with people. Dealing with people. I want you in the next weeks to come to really make the book of Ruth your devotional. We're going to be looking at this book with great detail and fervor. The book of Ruth, in totality, the name of the book is called Ruth. Yet when the book opens, the first person that you hear about is not Ruth. You hear about Elimelech. Elimelech is married to Naomi. Naomi has a son, Mahlon, and another son named Shaliah. Elimelech is married to Naomi, has a son, Mahlon, and Shaliah. And they're moving from one area to another. This is what I want you to catch. The book is called Ruth. And Ruth is not on the scene until one of the sons gets married and marries Ruth. The son marries Ruth. But the first person you hear about in the story is not Ruth. Ruth doesn't come on into the scene until several verses into the text. Yet, the book is called Ruth. The book of Ruth is about moving from one place to another through divine relationships. That's the thesis that I'm going to try to hammer out today. Moving from one place to another through divine relationships. Here's what the book of Ruth is about. I'm going to go ahead and give you the whole story in the beginning. The book of Ruth is about getting Ruth from Moab to Bethlehem. The book of Ruth is about moving Ruth from Moab to Bethlehem. The idea comes because the book is called Ruth. But the story starts out with a family. There is a migration going on. There is a famine in the land of Bethlehem. Bethlehem is out of bread. And so Elimelech moves from Bethlehem to Moab. He's moving from Bethlehem to Moab because Bethlehem has no bread. Let me share something with you. Bethlehem is called bread. Place of bread, city of bread, area of bread. It is called bread, but yet it has no bread. There are times in life where you will be in the place that you're supposed to be. It's called what it's called because of what it has. But what it has doesn't match what it's called. There are times in life where you have to leave a place that's supposed to have what it's called. I remember one time I went to Bojangles. Bojangles is famous for their fried chicken and biscuits. But when I pulled up to the window, the lady said, "We're out of fried chicken." And I said, "Ma'am, you need to take your sign down. Because you're famous for fried chicken and biscuits. How you gonna be called Bojangles that sells chicken, but when I get to the window, there is no chicken?" Because in life sometimes the places you go calls for it to have it, but it does not have it. There are seasons where there is just no chicken. There are seasons where they're out of chicken, where they're out of bread, where they're out of the region. There are just seasons where you are, where you're out of what you need. God will let it run out to run you out. God will let it run out so you have to get out. There's comfort in a place where there's bread. There's comfort in a place where there's resources. There's comfort in a place when sometimes God will keep the name, but change the methods. He says,
"Yes, he will. Glory.
I got to get out of here." Elimelech says, "I got to get my family. We've got to move from a place called bread into the land of Moab." It's the plains. Moab means plains, plural, plains of Moab. So Elimelech packs up his family and moves 70 miles north to the plains of Moab. Moab is a place where agriculture is growing, things are right, the fields are plentiful, the harvest is plentiful, things are going well, everybody is happy in Moab. All of a sudden in Moab, Elimelech dies. All of a sudden, we move from a place of with nothing to a place with something, and all of a sudden, Elimelech dies in this place. Naomi is left alone. And this is deeper than what we notice in the 21st century. Because most of the time, when you see a woman in a text, she's always supported by a man. A man is the breadwinner. A man is the provider. If a woman doesn't have a man, a woman doesn't have any money. If a woman doesn't have a man, she doesn't have a job. She provides for the home, and the man brings home the stuff to take care of the house when the husband dies in the Bible days. This is terrible. They move from a place that's in famine during the time of Judges, which means they're moving from a place of famine to a place of plenty. But yet now she has no help. What happens when you're just trying to do the best you can. And things still aren't going the best for you. What happens when you've uprooted yourself from one space to another space and planted yourself in the next space, but now all of a sudden things aren't going as you planned? Here's what Naomi does. She plants herself in a place because her husband wants to be there, and all of a sudden her husband is dead. She still has backup because these particular times when her husband dies, the children take care of the mother, particularly the sons. She is wealthy because she has a husband and 2 sons. And now she doesn't have a husband, she just has 2 sons. But she's still taken care of. Sons provide for her, do the best they can. They take care of her, but all of a sudden, the husbands get their own wives. Text tells us that these sons become husbands and marry Moabite women. They're in Moab, and these boys find some Moabite women, and they marry them. These brothers marry these women, and now they have their own families. Orpah and Ruth. These are the 2 girls that get the chance to marry these sons of Naomi. And 10 years go by and life is going good. We're finally getting over daddy's death. We're finally making ends meet. We're finally getting things right. And all of a sudden the 2 sons die. What do you do when you're just getting over one pain, but another one comes? How do you handle the misfortunes of the life that you have when it seems that every time you're up, something knocks you down? How do you get over getting under? Naomi is there, and her sons are dead. And while her sons are dead, she now has to go buy 2 more mausoleums. 2 more crypts. She has to put both her sons in 2. She's finally getting to that place where she's running out where she is. She is there, Naomi. And Ruth and Orpah are her daughters-in-law. And Naomi decides that I'm going back to Bethlehem. Here's what's happening. In the end of verse 6, it says that she heard that the Lord was moving again back in Bethlehem, which meant she was going back to Bethlehem. Now watch this. In the beginning, in verse 1, it said, in some texts it says, they were sojourning. They were traveling to Moab. Which means the actual textual language suggests that they never intended on staying in Moab. But the goal was that all went to Moab, but all went back to Bethlehem. But it seems as if 3 of them are no longer with them. Elimelech, Han, and Shemaiah. They are now dead. And now it is Naomi and these 2 girls she picked up while she was in Moab. Here's what she hears. That God's moving again in Bethlehem. It's time to go back. And every now and then God says it's time to go back. I know what you're saying. I'm trying to press on. I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to get stronger. Why in the world do I need to go back? You go back because you heard that the Lord was moving there. It was Naomi's understanding that God had now moved his hand and bread was now in the place called bread. And so now she's going back. Tell somebody it's okay to go back.
It's okay to go back.
But if you don't go back, you better make sure the Lord is moving.
Yes.
Some of us are moving before the Lord. And if you're going to go back, the cardinal rule is that if you're going back, you got to make sure God's moving back there.
Yes. Glory.
Some of us move before God and hope God moves while we're moving towards back. But listen, you need to wait till God moves in the back before you go in the back.
That's right.
I hope I'm talking plain.
Yes, sir.
Naomi decides to go back. And this text shows us that back is all right as long as God is moving.
Amen.
She's leaving. They're on their way back down South Road, heading down back towards Bethlehem. And as they're traveling back to Bethlehem, they're moving back, and it's Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth. Naomi gets the notion, and she gets the idea, the thought to say, listen, why don't y'all go back home to where y'all came from? I don't think it's expedient for you to travel with me to where I'm going. I don't think it's a good idea for you to go with me. Why don't you go back to your mother's house? Don't miss this. She says, go back to your mother's house. This particular time, there is no such thing as a mother's house. It is always a father's house. But she's feeling some kind of way as a mother. She's feeling some kind of feeling that only a mother can feel. She knows that those daughters don't really need their father. They need their mother. And at times in life, you're going to just need your mama's touch. At times in life, you can be 55 years old. If your mama's still with her, sometimes you just need to hold your mama. Anybody know sometimes you just need your mama every now and then? She understood what was going on in the life, in the mind of these young women. And she says, go back to your mother's house. They said, both of them, Orpah and Ruth said, no, we're not going back because we're going to stay with you. And then she begins to analyze her situation by saying, listen, I'm too old to have any more children. I cannot give you another son, another husband. I can't do that right now. And you need to go on back to your life. If I do meet somebody on Christian Mingle right now, it's going to be a long time before I can have a baby. Will you wait that long? I'm in the text. I'm in the text, not this one. She's telling them, listen, I have nothing more to offer you. Here's what she says. The hand of God has left me.
Mercy.
She says, the hand of God has left me. She says that God's hand is nowhere with me. And they wept. She says this because she's saying in translation, here's what they hear. God is attacking me. She's saying to them, the hand we hear, the hand of God is not with me, but they hear, God is attacking me. Have you ever felt attacked by God? He ain't going to strike you. Go ahead and say amen if you Can you be real in here? Sometimes you feel like God is attacking you. Sometimes you feel like God is working on you. Sometimes you feel like God is just trying to get down and get on that last nerve, twist it, turn it, bend it, flap it. But you just feel like God is on you. But now and then God will attack you. God will get on your case. God will get on getting you. God will get on your stuff and make you feel like you're being attacked. She says, God is attacking me. And you don't want this. You don't want what I have to offer. Matter of fact, I have nothing left to offer you. I can't give you no more. Have you ever felt like you are out of everything?
Mercy.
You don't have nothing to give and people are asking for stuff. There are needs around you, but yet you got nothing to supply those needs. There comes a time in our lives where God will attack us this way. won't